What is the deal, guys? What's going on? It is Wednesday, and you know what that means. We're sitting here. We're going to get ready for AEW Dynamite. It is a 2-year anniversary. But before we get to that, we are going to sit there and talk a little bit of wrestling, go over NXT 2.0, go over the draft that happened with WWE. I have some MLW news as well, and somebody that we haven't seen in a long time, and that is Tessa Blanchard. I have some Tessa Blanchard news as well, some Bobby Fish news, and a whole lot more. I want to start off with the MLW news. They held their media coverage today. It was mostly a media call with one of their from one of the owners from MLW. He touched base on a lot of things as far as like what the future holds for MLW. What are their plans that they've been going over, and some of the names that they've been trying to sign with the company. You know, MLW has been killing it lately. They're going in for a TV deal as well, and they're just another company that is just clawing at the necks of WWE at this point, and going in with AEW. A couple of highlights that they had from the media call was they said that they had reached out to Bo Dallas. We haven't heard from Bo Dallas in a while since his release. I know that he's been sitting there doing his real estate company license, and also he started working on his farm. So he's really not too much into trying to get into professional wrestling. At this moment in time, they said they had reached out to him as well. I would love to see Bo Dallas back inside of a ring. I thought he was really good in WWE, just changing his whole character around when he was with The Miz. But I truly understand if he wants to just take that break and see what else is out there. Another name that they tried to reach out to was Braun Strowman. Now, Braun Strowman has been in the news lately because he's been shopping around, wondering where he's going to go. There's been talks of him going to Impact. There's also been talks of him maybe coming down to AEW at some point. But for the for the meantime, right now, it looks like Braun Strowman will be most likely going to Impact Wrestling, and you never know where he might end up staying. Maybe going to MLW, maybe doing a little stunt there. The last time we seen Braun Strowman was Free the Narrative with EC3, and that you can catch on Fight TV. More MLW news. We all know that tonight Bobby Fish is going to make his in-ring debut over at AEW Dynamite against Sammy Guevara. But a lot of people have been speculating, wondering, what kind of deal is, Bobby Fish on? Is he signed with AEW? Is he going to get signed with AEW? Over the weekend, MLW had their Fightland tapings in Philly, and a lot of people asked Bobby Fish whether or not he was signed to AEW, especially with the picture floating around with him versus Sammy Guevara wearing a Bobby Fish shirt that looked like it was produced by AEW. Now, that being said, he did confirm that he is still a free agent and that he has not signed with anybody just yet. He's just taking bookings, and he is free to roam around wherever he pleases, whether it's MLW or AEW, and that's why he's taking the opportunity now to sit there and fight Sammy Guevara for the TNT title tonight, which should be a really good match. Bobby Fish has been looking incredible in the ring, all the appearances he's done with MLW so far. So to see him now on a bigger scale, back on a bigger scale, like AEW, I definitely want to see where this is going to go and how is this going to lead into his future in professional wrestling. Another company making waves today, and they're gonna hold a press conference later tonight, and I'll have more news for that on you on that one. Is WOW Wrestling? That's the Women of Wrestling. They were back a couple of years back before the pandemic. They had their TV deal taken away from them over on Access TV, but it looks like they're making a comeback, but not in a quick way. They're just holding a press conference tonight just to let everybody know that they're back, what is to expect from WOW Wrestling, And some of the names that are going to be dropped, they are going to make their way to WoW. One of those names is Tessa Blanchard. We haven't seen Tessa in quite some time now. It's roughly around 16 months since the last time we seen Tessa Blanchard step into a wrestling ring. We all know how Tessa is. She's full of controversy as far as this trying to play nice with other females in the women's division, in women wrestling in general. She had some issues when she was champion over on Impact and also in WoW. Those are one of the names that's dropping tonight as far as like who's going to be a part of the company. Another person that's looking to be a part of the company too is the Beast herself. She was the former WoW's women's champion. So it's safe to say that she's going to end up going back with the company one more time and hopefully being their women's champion one more time. I'm not too sure what else is going to happen with WoW. Definitely going to tune in to WoW's press conference later tonight to find out a little bit more. And obviously, if you head on over to the Instagram page, I will definitely, guys, keep you updated as far as like what is going on with the company itself. If anybody was a fan of WoW Wrestling, as I was, I loved this whole all women's, wrestling company. It reminded me of Glow. It's something that I think is needed, especially now in the women's division of wrestling. I think that they can do newer things, especially with all the new stars that are coming out of the woodwork in the wrestling business, and being that they can just go to any agents, pretty much any company right now because they're not completely signed unless you're with WWE or NXT. Some other news we go over. NXT 2.0 was last night. NXT 2.0 is starting to grow on me. I'm starting to like a lot of the people that they're starting to, bring up and show throughout the company. Another guy that I literally thought that it was going to be a complete joke, but I loved it. Oh, look, my man Toe is in the house right now, letting us know that he loves the new lay. Thank you so much. Toe is one of the guys who does a lot of the overlays for me here, trying to pick up some things that are trying to make some new changes here. But getting back to Tony D Angelo, he made his NXT debut last night. I thought that it was pretty good. I liked his in-ring action. As far as just the character is concerned, it looks like the crowd really loved him. Everybody was screaming for D'Angelo. He had a really good match last night, so I'm kind of wondering what else is going to show with D'Angelo moving forward in NXT. It looks like we're going to get Halloween Havoc is going to be our next big event for NXT 2.0. We already have one match already signed, and that's going to be Ciampa, the champion of NXT, versus Bron Breakker with 2Ks, as my man Lay likes to remind us, 2Ks. That is going to be your first match. Most likely that it will be your main event. Being that NXT is moving to this new look, for me, I just feel like, I don't know, maybe it just doesn't look too good for Ciampa, being that I know Vince McMahon wanted to get a fresher look for NXT. So being that Breakker now is going for the title and he's just a fresh new face for the company, that he might end up taking the reins and becoming your new NXT champion. If that's the case, then what happens to Ciampa? Does he stay with NXT? Does he go into the back and just help out with other talent? Or do we see him that he just ends up leaving WWE and doing something different? I mean, the possibility for him to do something different is always open because there's so many different companies out there, and their travel schedules are completely different now than, say, like WWE, if he was to get called up to the main roster. That's right. My man Toe's still in the house talking about 2Ks, we're talking about Bron Breakker. We always have that little joke that anytime we mention Bron Breakker's name, we have to make sure that we let them know that it's with 2Ks. Moving on to other news, it looks like we might end up having Mandy Rose versus Raquel Gonzalez over at Halloween Havoc as well. The two are in a storyline right now where the two look like they're going to end up meeting in the ring. Mandy Rose so far with this new look and this new attitude going in with Toxic Attraction has been killing it. I think that in the beginning, a lot of people were just wondering, like, he goes, yeah, man, I'm here. Of course. Everybody was kind of wondering, just like they really didn't like the look that Mandy was portraying with the new hairstyle. I absolutely love it. I think that it's something different for her. It's taking her more serious as a women's competitor, and I could definitely see her winning the women's championship. But with that being said, if she wins the women's championship, what happens to Raquel Gonzalez? Does she continue to stay on NXT, or do we see her getting a surprise call up? Because guess what? We haven't seen everybody. There's a lot of people that are still available for the draft that happened on Monday and on Friday. So it's only a matter of time before we find out what's going to happen to them. King of the Ring and Queen's Crown will be happening on Friday for the premiere of SmackDown. Everybody is vocal for Xavier Woods right now. I feel that Xavier Woods needs to be in this tournament, where he's the only one so far who has stepped up and said that he wants to be a part of this tournament. We have absolutely no idea who is going to be in this tournament right now. Most likely we're going to end up finding out on Friday, just like everybody else, and finding out what the bracket is going to look like. But this will be in the course of 4 weeks, where the winners will be crowned at Crown Jewel. As far as like the women's division, I would love to see Shotzi Blackheart enter this tournament. I would love to see Shayna Baszler enter this tournament and actually win, especially that she is the queen of spades. And one thing that we have to remember is that the winner of this tournament for the Queen's Crown will most likely end up fighting Charlotte Flair. She's been very vocal on it, stating that the winner should face her since she is the queen of the ring herself. She named herself that. And she is currently your Raw Women's Champion. Don't really know if she will still be champion come Crown Jewel, because she will still be in another storyline right now. It looks like she's going to be in a storyline with Becky Lynch as well, and a whole bunch of other people. We wanted to go back, and the draft happened on Friday. It was night one, so I wanted to sit here and break down just a little bit of the draft and just get everybody's opinion on this, so you guys could comment in the chat and let me know exactly what you thought about it. Did your picks actually make it into the respective brands, and do we actually needed to have this draft go on right now, especially since we really didn't have a GM for Monday Night Raw or SmackDown? I missed the old time of the draft where you had the two brands battling it out for each other to see who was going to be the best brand. But with the two GMs co-hosting both Raw and SmackDown, it really didn't make any sense at all for us to have this draft, but we had it anyway. So night one was on the first, that was over on SmackDown, and we're going to break this down round by round. So on SmackDown, we had the first round pick, and that was Roman Reigns. Obviously, we were going to get Roman Reigns. On SmackDown, the tribal chief himself. I really didn't think that Roman was going to end up going to another company as far as being on Monday Night Raw, especially with Fox really wanting to have Roman stay on SmackDown itself. The next person that they end up picking, when that was for Raw, and that was the WWE champion, Big E. Him just being on Raw was a really good thing, because we really didn't want him to sit there being on SmackDown, because then we were going to have two champions, and just wondering whether or not what was going to happen there. I think Big E could be on his own for that one. The next up, we had Charlotte Flair, who is your SmackDown, she's on SmackDown, but she is your Raw Women's Champion. So I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen there with Charlotte. Is she going to continue being the Raw Women's Champion, or are they going to do a swap like they did the last time they had the draft, and you had, the New Day and the Street Profits switch titles? for their respective brands. The last one to make from the first round, and that was Bianca Belair. So now Bianca Belair is moved to Raw. She is still in a storyline with Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. So I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen with that. They're going to all be battling it out at Crown Jewel for the SmackDown Women's Championship. If she ends up winning, does this mean that she's going to back to SmackDown, or does she stay on Raw and then just take the women's championship from Charlotte Flair and then they just do a swap from there? Round 2 showed us Drew McIntyre going off to SmackDown while RK Bro, which is Randy Orton and Riddle, they end up staying on Raw. WWE once again splitting up the New Day with Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods going to SmackDown and us getting Edge going off to Raw. Round 3 gave us Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss going to SmackDown with the women's tag team champions Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH going to Raw. In a surprise call-up, we end up getting Hit Row, which is Isaiah Swerve Scott, Top Dollar, and B-Fab, and 3, all going to SmackDown. A lot of people speculated that some people were happy that Hit Row is going to be a part of SmackDown, and other people said that it just was too soon for this group to make it to SmackDown. My personal opinion, I feel that I also think that they're not ready to come up to the main roster. It could just be me. I know Isaiah Swerve Scott has been killing it lately. At the times before, he ended up getting the North American title, but now, and he's been, all that time in the Indies. But with this new group that he has, are they really ready for the schedule that they're going to have to endure from the main roster? And then 2, are they going to be ready for a bigger venue and just the different stars that they have going into SmackDown? Last person for round 3 of the draft, and that was Keith Bearcat Lee. Tone, that is right. I said it correctly. Keith Bearcat Lee. He is going to stay on Monday Night Raw, and hopefully we get to see something a little different from him. I mean, we haven't been really seeing him as of late. A lot of people are just wondering whether or not what's going to happen to Keith Lee. I have been a big supporter of Keith Lee, and I'm just hoping that something different comes out of this for him, especially with the newer people that are coming in and a lot of the people that left already. Round 4 showed Naomi staying on SmackDown, Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio going to Monday Night Raw, Jeff Hardy coming to SmackDown, which is a really good look for him because he really wasn't doing much on Monday Night Raw, and another surprise call with Austin Theory going to Monday Night Raw. I have been a big supporter of Austin Theory for a very long time, since I've seen him in Evolve Wrestling. He made his way to WWE throughout the pandemic. He was a part of Seth Rollins' faction on Monday Night Raw, and then he ended up going down to NXT and being with Johnny Gargano. And then after that, we didn't see him. And now he's making back his main event appearance on Monday Night Raw. This past Monday, we seen that he and Jeff Hardy had a little exchange where he sucker punched Jeff Hardy and left him in the middle of the ring and took a selfie with him, which was so disrespectful. I literally thought that the way they're treating Jeff Hardy right now is just crazy to me. I hope that once Jeff Hardy's contract is fully up, that he end up leaving and going with his brother to AEW. I think he could do a whole lot better someplace else, wondering whether or not they're going to keep him there. And those were the only rounds that we had for the draft come night 1, being that SmackDown is only a 2-hour show, and then they had a whole bunch of other highlights. Did your picks actually make it for the first night? I know a lot of mine did not. Some of them did. Me and Lay from the Knucklehead podcast, we had our own draft, and to be honest, I thought that our draft was a whole lot better. If you guys missed that, go over to the Knucklehead podcast channel over on YouTube, and you can see our picks from there. It is very funny and it's very long, but it is worth the watch. So night 2 was on Monday Night Raw, And obviously, it started off with Becky Lynch letting us know that she was the first round draft pick on Monday night and that she was going to be on Monday Night Raw. So now we have two different champions on two different brands. We have Charlotte Flair on SmackDown. She is your current Raw Women's Champion. And then we have Becky Lynch now, who is your SmackDown Women's Champion on Monday Night Raw. So what does that leave? Come after Crown Jewel, everybody who has been swapped starts off in their new respective brands. So if they're still champions after Crown Jewel, what is going to happen to these titles? We all know how WWE is with their lazy booking. Most likely, they're just going to end up swapping them out and letting the champions just grab the other belts, which is, to me, I feel like this is complete bullshit. And they should just have a match where one of them could just become a double champion. I don't really think that we need a brand split at this point with such a low roster of people that they have already. Another team that was drafted in the first round, and that was the Usos. They remain on SmackDown. Bobby Lashley remains on Raw, and Sasha Banks is going to remain on SmackDown. I really thought that Sasha Banks was going to end up going to Monday Night Raw, but they're going to leave her on SmackDown, especially since Bianca Belair is going to be moved to Monday Night Raw. Round 2 shows Seth Rollins going to Monday Night Raw, and that wasn't a big surprise because you know that WWE doesn't like to split up couples nowadays. They want to keep them together, and Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch have a child, so it's obviously makes sense that they're going to end up keeping both of these guys together for family sakes. Excuse me. So, you know, it's good to see that we're going to get the Messiah back on Monday nights. I think that it's a fresh, you know, it's going to be something good for them. It might get their ratings up. It might give us a little bit more to watch on Monday nights because it's been the drizzling shits, as Tom likes to say, um, watching this or just going back and recapping this. And a lot of times I love wrestling, so I just love to watch, sometimes watch Monday Night Raw, but sometimes it's just unwatchable. So now with these fresh faces coming in, having Seth Rollins back on Monday nights, hopefully now we can get a better view of Monday nights. The Intercontinental Champion King Nakamura and Rick Boogs, they're going to stay on SmackDown. The United States Champion Damian Priest will stay on Monday Night Raw, and Sheamus will move now to SmackDown. I'm hoping since Jeff Hardy is on SmackDown that we do not get a Sheamus and Jeff Hardy feud. We've already seen it. We don't need to see it anymore. They just need to do something completely different now with Sheamus and have a better storyline. Round 3 showed AJ Styles and almost staying on Monday Night Raw, Shayna Baszler moving to SmackDown, Kevin Owens moving to Monday Night Raw, and Io Shirai getting the call up, no point intended, to SmackDown. I am so, oh no, it's Xia Li, sorry. I wish Io Shirai would have moved to SmackDown, but Xia Li is going to end up moving to SmackDown from NXT. She's been killing it with her new character, so I can't wait for the SmackDown audience to see what she has. And this is a great addition to the women's division roster on SmackDown. It's going to give somebody like, say, Charlotte Flair a run for her money when it comes to having great matches. We all know that, you know, Charlotte is great in the ring. So to have a lot of these new faces going in there like Shayna Baszler and Xia Li will definitely be a bigger improvement for the women's division come on SmackDown. Round 4 showed the Street Profits going to Monday Night Raw, the Viking Raiders going over to SmackDown, which I definitely had them on my fantasy roster list, going to another brand. Finn Balor going to Monday Night Raw, which I also had as well, and Ricochet going to SmackDown, which I also had. So it was kind of a win where I was like almost right as far as like where these people were going to go. I love the fact that now we're going to end up seeing Ricochet on SmackDown. I'm hoping that this will be a fresh start for him. He's been sitting there saying that he's been happy on the main event, but this is something for him now. being that now we have King of the Ring coming this Friday. I'm hoping he's another person that we see enter this tournament and show what he can do in the ring. Can we see him win King of the Ring? You never know, especially with the booking for WWE is concerned. If they like you, they will push you. If they don't like you, they will bury you and leave you in catering and have you on main event night after night after night. Round 5 showed Karrion Kross staying on Monday Night Raw, Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza moving to SmackDown, Alexa Bliss staying on Monday Night Raw, and Cesaro staying on SmackDown. Now, there's some news with Alexa Bliss that she is taking some time off from the company under the arena. Alexa Bliss is taking some time off. A lot of people speculated that she wanted to leave the company, but that has been falsely reported. But it is true that Alexa Bliss is taking some time off. Wrestling Inc. Had reported this a couple of weeks ago, stating that she just needed to take a break. Obviously, she is engaged to Ryan Cabrera, who is an amazing singer. If you haven't checked out any of his music, please do so. They are planning to get married. So it looks like she's starting to head down that path where she is getting ready for her wedding. I know if you look on social media, she's been posting different things about like the wedding dress and stuff like that. So it's good to see that we're going to, Alexa gets that time off. I'm hoping that when she comes back, we get the old Alexa Bliss with a different mind change where she's walking around like she hasn't been there for months and she just goes to different people and just says, hey, how's everything going? I haven't seen you in a long time, and just get that whole memory loss. And then going to Nikki and just saying like, you have a whole new costume. Like, what is this? And just Nikki just giving her like this weird look, wondering like, what is she talking about? Does she not remember anything that just happened the last couple of months? So I would love to see that storyline with Alexa Bliss. Round 6, which was the last round, gave us Carmella going to Monday Night Raw. Rich Holland getting called up from NXT and moving on to SmackDown. And a surprise pick, and I had talked about this on Monday when I found out about it, and that was Gable Stevenson. He is the Olympic wrestler that signed with WWE a couple of months ago. He is going to Monday Night Raw, and Sami Zayn rounds it out with him going to SmackDown. Those were all the picks that were televised for night 2. I was surprised that they got that Gabe Stevenson is going to Raw. I would have thought that he would have spent some time in NXT, especially with the fresh look that they're trying to give. He hasn't even taken a bump yet in a WWE ring or learned the system yet for both brands, and now he is going to be a part of Monday Night Raw. And this is one of the issues that I have with WWE, where they continue to just throw these names out there thinking that this is things that people want to see. We have no idea. If you did not watch the Olympics, you have absolutely no idea who this guy is, what he is capable of doing. We've seen him in the Olympics. Toe right now saying the same thing. You didn't send Angle to NXT. But listen, it was completely different when Kurt Angle was coming into the WWE. And plus, when he was coming into the WWE, he was already training to start his in-ring debut with WWF at the time. Stevenson hasn't even trained yet. He is still competing for the NCAA, where he had, and once he finishes competing for his school, then he's going to join the WWE and start training with them and get ready for his in-ring debut. Right now, they're just using him as a name. No, I'm calling him Kurt Angle. Oh, he is going to be the Kurt Angle, but he's going to be Kurt Angle like a 2.0 on Monday Night Raw. And one of the people I feel so bad for is Chad Gable, because guess what? Now they're going to end up changing Chad Gable's name, and they already changed his name once to Shorty G. So now what are they going to change his name to? Are they going to just change it just to Chad at this point? I have no freaking clue at all. I can't wait to see what WWE Creative is going to come up with this one. Another surprise person that got drafted was Ridge Holland, who is stiff as shit, wondering what is this guy going to do on SmackDown? What is he going to contribute to the roster? You see him on NXT with it's just horrible. I have no words to wonder who decided to bring this guy up when you have people like Cameron Grimes, LA Knight, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, all sitting there in NXT, and you could bring them up, and you decide to bring up Ridge Holland, who could have just stood with Pete Dunne in NXT and continued to train and continue to build. Shit, you could have even brought up Kyle O'Reilly, who's sitting there right now getting his ass whipped every single week and not doing a goddamn thing with himself, instead of sitting here with freaking Von Wagner all goddamn week, wondering whether or not he's going to freaking get an NXT title shot, which is never going to happen at this point. And I've been a big ass Kyle O'Reilly fan since I seen him in the beginning on ROH. And now when he made it to Undisputed Era NXT, I was even rooting for him back then. But now it's just freaking horrible with the way that they're treating a lot of the athletes nowadays, especially with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens came out, got drafted in round three of the draft on night 2, sits there, comes in to the ring. We have absolutely no idea why he's coming there at all. Tozawa comes in and says that he wants to fight freaking Reginald for the 24/7 championship, gets stunned in the middle of the ring, and Kevin Owens just leaves, and we have absolutely no idea why he was there, what he was going to say, or what he was going to do. But that is Monday Night Raw for you. That is why they are the drizzling shits every single freaking week. Some more people that got drafted also off the air from Monday Night Raw, and that was Dana Brooke, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, Jason Ryder, Vier, Liv Morgan, Mia Yim, Tamina, which means that Tamina and Natalya are no longer a tag team. They got split up. Tegan Nox, which that also means that Tegan Nox and Chauncey Blackheart will no longer be a tag team, which sucks because they beat the tag team champions 3 consecutive times and did not get a title shot at all the whole entire time that they were a part of SmackDown. Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander got drafted to Raw, which means we still get the Hurt Business and The Miz himself, who is now a part of Dancing with the Stars, is going to stay with Monday Night Raw. SmackDown ended up getting Jinder Mahal and Shaky, which means that Jinder Mahal and his faction are no more. Natalya got moved to SmackDown, and Chauncey Blackheart will stay on SmackDown. A lot of the other people who got drafted outside of the draft televised show was Tozawa staying on Monday Night Raw, so we get to see him with Reginald one more time each and every week. We have the Alpha Academy of Otis and Chad Gable. They're going to go now to Monday Night Raw, which hurts my heart because now we're just going to get him as Chad. We're not going to get him as Chad Gable anymore. Kofi's in the house letting us know that he's here. Kofi, what is going on, my brother? We got Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz moving to Monday Night Raw. We have Deirdre, Drake Maverick, Johnny Morrison, Nia Jax, the 24/7 champion, Reginald, R-Truth, T-Bar, and Zelina Vega all going to Monday Night Raw. I'm kind of wondering what they're going to do with Zelina Vega now. They brought her in. I thought that was going to give some type of promise. They put her on SmackDown. They had her in a couple of good storylines, and now they just kind of fizzled her out, hoping that now with her being on Monday Night Raw, that we get something a little bit different, rounding off the rest of them from night 1. For SmackDown, we had Aaliyah getting called up from NXT. We've seen her do a couple of dark matches for the creatives in the back, so it looks like that they were really happy with her, and they're going to continue to bring her up in the main roster. Drew Gulak is staying on SmackDown. Mace is coming over to SmackDown. Mansoor and Ali will be moved to SmackDown, and Tony Storm rounds out the last bit of picks going in for SmackDown. So there are some free agents that haven't been picked yet, like Brock Lesnar is still a free agent. Bailey is still a free agent. There are a couple of other people who are free agents here. I'm trying to pull up the list here. I had it earlier, but it seems that I lost it. But we noticed that a lot of people were still not picked for the draft. So I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen with them there. Lacey Evans is another person who is on maternity leave right now because she is pregnant, about to have her second child. She wasn't picked. Bailey, who's on injury, she wasn't picked at all. Brock Lesnar letting everyone know that he is a free agent. So you're kind of wondering whether or not where he's going to go at this point. But yeah, those are the draft picks we have. I'm still wondering what's going to happen next with WWE. We have their season premiere of SmackDown this Friday, which to me, I'm still wondering why is it a season premiere when we haven't even started the new roster yet, which doesn't happen until after Crown Jewel. So I would have been assuming that after Crown Jewel, it would have been like your premiere because Crown Jewel is on a Thursday and then you can have your show on Friday. But what do I know? Tony Khan rounding off this episode today. Tony Khan stating today that he had a really big announcement that he is going to unveil most likely on Dynamite tonight. A lot of speculation has been that he is going to introduce a new title in the women's division. We're not too sure whether or not it's going to be a women's tag title or is it going to be another women's title for TBS, because we all know that Dynamite will be moving to TBS come next year, and then Rampage will stay on TNT. AEW has been killing it. They have a great lineup for you guys. Your mom took me. We have another chat here, and this is my boy. This is my boy Joey. He says, your mom took me to my first wrestling show. Big respect to Kenny and the call up. Shout out to the Cardboard Belt Champs. Off AEW news. So my boy Joey right now, I'm going to leave this up there. He is actually my brother. We have been friends for a very long time. And this just takes me back because we went to so many different wrestling shows together and it was like amazing. We've got lost in Queens trying to go meet Chris Jericho. We met Mick Foley and stood in the cold for like 6 hours waiting for Mick Foley just to get our book signed. Standing in the cold at WWE or WWF restaurant to get autographs from like different people and eat their shitty ass food that they had back then. So it's good to see Joey is in the chat, letting us, giving me big support. It really means a lot to me. Having like older friends and family just come out and support the channel. I've been doing a lot of different stuff lately. Just to give you guys a little update, Saturdays, I will be doing a Saturday morning show. It won't be on YouTube. It might be on YouTube. I'm not too sure right now. But for the meantime, if you follow me on Instagram, it will definitely be there. It's same way like this one, interactive, sitting here with different people. So, bring your cereal, bring your coffee, bring your waters. It's going to be the wrap-up review of the week. So we're going to talk NXT news. We're going to talk Impact. We're going to talk Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk AEW. We're going to talk MLW news. We're just going to talk about different things that are just happening in the world. If you are bored at home, check out Escape from the Undertaker. That's a new movie that's out with Netflix. They had a deal with WWE. It's very interactive. You get to help the New Day escape the Undertaker's home. It's about 30 minutes, so it's not going to take up a lot of time unless you want to continue to sit there and do the different clues or tricks or whatever it is that they have. But if you do not want to sit there and wait, by all means, I suggest you join us next week as myself, Tommy Paradise, DJ, Phil from the Fake Cave, and I believe my boy Mike Lanham will be doing a watch along about this and just seeing what different things that they have. Saturday, I will be live on Twitch, which is the same channel, the same name, as the channel here on YouTube, which is the Call Up. Find me on Twitch as well. I'm gonna be doing a watch along for the boxing match for the Tyson Fury boxing match that is going down this Saturday, and I might end up doing a watch along for the Knockouts pay per view that's coming out for Impact on Friday as well, depending on the time. But also, it's just shooting the shit and just talking a whole bunch of stuff. So on Saturday, just grab a beer, grab your favorite snacks, jump on Twitch. It's better because I can't do it on Facebook because Facebook or YouTube because they'll end up kicking me out. But I've noticed that if I do it on Twitch, they don't mess with me, especially because I'm still new and they're not going to find my channel anytime soon. So join myself, join Toe, because he likes to come on there, to La Flaca, just the normal people who's gonna sit there in the chat or probably jump on and talk shit. Let's have a beer. Let's talk. I'm gonna end up doing a lot more of these on Wednesdays. A lot of the times I'm doing this by myself today, but normally we'll have other people that come on. Anybody who wants to jump on, by all means, do so. Shoot me a message. Let's talk. Toe is still in the building right now, letting us know that he is here. If you guys not have checked out the Knucklehead Podcast, I am a regular there. At this point, you should just add my name to the list of permanent guests that come on the show. Just to talk a little bit about the Knucklehead Podcast, they are a group of guys and one female who is a badass, who bring you different topics each and every night. They start off on Tuesday and end on a Friday. You can catch anything between comic books, which I am not familiar with, which gets me into more comic books, which is going to send me down a rabbit hole as far as collecting. As you can see, I have belts here and other video game stuff that I normally collect. They talk wrestling as well, that's why they have me on a lot of the time. If you check the chats, I'm always there interacting with everybody and interacting with them. They get real personal on Fridays with the Toe in the show, which is great because if you want to just let out your feelings and have a little bit of debate, by all means, check out the Toe in the show on Fridays. I love interacting on that one as well. Did I miss anything at all? Toe, did I miss anything? We might need you tomorrow. As you can see, they're saying it again. They might need me tomorrow. By all means, you already know I'm only a phone call away. I'm always there. Trying to think. They also do movie reviews, which is crazy to me because they sit there and watch a movie and then they talk about it. And it's like the funniest thing in the world. And I know you're probably sitting here wondering, why am I plugging another podcast? Because they are family to me. They're the only ones that sit there and make sure that I do things. If I mess up on something, they call me out on it. Especially last week when I said Battle Cat Lee instead of saying Bear Cat Lee, and they won't let that down, which is like fucking hilarious to me. But like I said, by all means, check out the Knucklehead Podcast. I'm gonna leave the name up here one more time. You see, if you follow me on Instagram, then I always shout them out all the time. By all means, do so. You'll catch me on there on Thursdays in the chat or on the big screen, shooting my shit, letting them know why John Cena is the GOAT of WWE and wrestling in general. Guys, that is it. It is 7:43. We're gonna get ready for AEW. If you're checking out the audio version of this, this was recorded on Wednesdays. It'll be out tomorrow on all podcast platforms. A little tongue tied right now. I don't know why, but maybe I should just take a swig of water. But I love to just sit here and interact with people. It's a little dead today. It's okay. Hopefully people will just listen to this or go back and watch it later on. I know people have a lot of things going on today. A lot of people are getting ready for AEW, or they're just really busy with their lives nowadays now that we're starting to open up a little bit more with the pandemic coming to somewhat of a close. But guys, remember, if you're not vaccinated, you decide you want to get vaccinated, by all means do so. That is your choice, nobody else's. But just stay safe out there. There's a lot of crazy people in this world, especially like Toe, going out trying to get Sasha Banks. I see you. And I'm also watching her at the same time because I got to make sure she's okay. But guys, enjoy AEW, enjoy SmackDown. I will talk to you guys on Saturday morning. Like I said, get your coffees together, get your cereals, get your bacon, egg, and cheese. I'm from New York. I am from the Bronx originally, but I live in Brooklyn. So I will be snacking on a bacon, egg, and cheese as I'm talking to you guys. My kids are probably somewhere right now screaming their life away because they're wondering what the frick I'm doing right now. Guys, until next time, stay safe, enjoy yourself, and thank you for watching. Joey, if you're still in this chat, thank you so much for coming out. So thank you so much for coming out. The guys from the Run In podcast, thank you so much for always being there and always supporting. Phil from the Fit Cave as well for letting me use your platform and always supporting. Lay for always calling me out. Show for being you. Gigi, I love you. La Flaca, I love you too. Guys, thank you so much. Mom, we made it. Talk to you soon. Later.